Hello, hello. Welcome to the Head Ass Podcast. Today I have a special guest, Mr. Dylan Sprouse. Dylan Sprouse. I have Dylan Sprouse with me. I'm kidding. I have Dylan Morris, my friend, my good pal. Dylan Morris. We're going to be chit-chatting. Jack's not off the podcast. We still love him. He's still on, but I think we have a little switch up. Some like new like, you know, some new content, some new fresh, like a refresh, you know?
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Hope your day's going well. Hope you enjoy Head Ass.
Head Ass Podcast. So let's get into it. I don't really want to talk more politics, but something big happened since last Tuesday. Last Tuesday is the last time I recorded the podcast. The Muslim ban.
Well, initially, just the concept of a Muslim ban is pretty ridiculous. Like, how are you supposed to know who is Muslim? And then you think of the concept of almost everyone who came over here was an immigrant and who made our country great.
Yeah.
And it's also just like, you know, you think of the only two lists that have existed in history, and that was Chinese internment, where no one was a spy.
Yep.
Major abuse happening. And then the other list, we all know, which was Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
You know, you demonize these people, and it's going to lead to abuse. And
Which it already has.
Yeah, it already has.
I just read on Twitter that I think it was a mosque, is what? Yeah, a mosque has been burnt down in Texas.
Yeah,
as of today.
Yeah, if you look at the statistics,
the first day of the Muslim ban, and there's a bunch of refugees coming in from Syria and Iran, and they're being detained at airports.
Yeah, and so that's terrifying.
That's horrible.
And if you look at the statistics of since Trump was inaugurated, hate crimes have already spiked by 5%.
Yeah. And
obviously it's grim, but what I think is really inspiring that people are coming out and they're protesting. We saw that with the Women's March, and now the people who were stopped at JFK Airport.
Yeah, there's a big protest going on there.
Yeah, and people have already stepped up, and hopefully we have this continued resistance, which we will need to check that executive power.
Yeah. Dylan, I kind of want you to introduce yourself. We kind of just jumped into that.
Yeah.
Dylan's he's got a lot of brain muscle. He flexes his brain muscles a lot.
Thanks. I can just introduce myself.
Yeah, you go for it.
I was listening to your guys' podcast the other week, and I was one of the high school kids who was into debate and politics initially, and then that just kind of grew more and more going into college. Now I'm going more the financial route, but always reading up on the articles and staying within the political arena. So really I've just always been involved in academics, and I've helped out a lot of local elections. And yeah, I just think politics is really important, and I think it's really awesome to discuss it.
Yeah, and I was talking to Jack last week about this, how I never, being in high school, I never really cared about politics until until now, which is kind of an important time to care. But in high school, I never really cared. I think the first time I started caring was when Ferguson was going on, and I was like, oh shit, people are being treated really fucking shitty, shit's going off. And I think that kind of testimonies to how good of a president Obama has already said this. But seeing how much Trump is fucking up in with the first 2 weeks of how much executive orders he's put in already, and how we have to have 2 podcasts to cover, literally,
which is pretty ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I think last week me and Jack covered it pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I mean, there's so much more shit going on. He wants to build the wall. But I mean, that's going to $50 billion to build this wall. That's not including labor.
Well, what I don't think a lot of people understand too is the way he wants to enforce that is by 20% tariff, but that will spur a war between all countries and tariffs.
Well, and there's a lot of places we have a U.S.-Mexican border, which covers a lot of Mexico and the U.S. He wants to build a wall. There's already a wall there. It's a giant fence, and it's guarded by drones and helicopters, and there's blimps and shit, and dogs and trucks. Our border is heavily guarded. We're not being attacked by the Mexican. We're not being attacked by Mexico. I don't see why we need a huge wall. The immigration problem is pretty covered. And I saw this comment, and it said, if a Mexican or any other person of descent were to get through that wall, survive 7 days walking through a desert, get away from all attack dogs and drones and all that and all the security, they have the determination to come to this country.
Yeah.
They should be able to stay.
I agree.
If they want to get to a better life, which I don't think was probably the best bet, coming to America as it is right now, but if they have the determination to come here and they're not being they're illegal, but they're not carrying over illegal narcotics or anything. They just want a better life for themselves.
Yeah.
They should be able to stay.
Well, and here's my problem with it is we both have the intention of we want to be the beacon on the hill, you know? But the problem is the Democrats provide some sort of solution. We're like, all right, we'll grant amnesty and we'll try to build greater steps forward and for you to get into this country. Whereas the Republicans, they disagree with our policy, but they offer no proposal and no solution in its place.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can agree on this intention, but you cannot complain and you cannot condemn if you offer no other alternatives. It's really, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
But I just want to finish this thought on the tariff. So economically, I understand why Trump would try to do that because it builds up manufacturing and small businesses. But a tariff is not the way to do it. Because if we set up a 20% tariff, then Mexico can do it to us, China can do it to us, Europe can do it to us, all other countries can do it to us, and that is economically devastating.
Yeah.
Because most of our GDP comes from exporting our goods. I mean, it happened in the 1960s when they did it with sugar.
Yeah.
When we put on that tariff and other countries did it in response, it almost led to a global catastrophe on a financial scale.
Yeah.
Because we simply weren't getting in that revenue associated with sugar. So that's not the way to do it. So if you want to make our borders more secure, just enforce what we already have in place.
And I mean, our border...
It is secure.
It is secure. And our border is... We spend the most money on our border every single year. I think you said $5 billion on our border every year. It's the most funded agency. The Border Control is the most funded agency in the United States. It's more funded than the FBI and the CIA.
Correct.
And I think it's just ridiculous. This 25 or $50 billion that they're putting towards this wall should go to Planned Parenthood, to funding education.
Right, because he's going to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, he's not going to fund fund any of this, and it's ridiculous.
Well, I think you guys
and healthcare. He's not they're saying they're going to fix the healthcare problem, which building a $50 billion wall is definitely putting money in the wrong place.
Yeah. You guys touched pretty well on Planned Parenthood last week, so I won't rehash that. But I just want to make 2 points.
And I don't want to make this whole podcast politics. I mean, it's cool to hear about that, but I don't want to make it all politics.
Yeah, we'll get past it.
We'll get past it. We just have a lot to get off our chest right now, so go ahead. Sorry.
So the first one is I want to clear up something about the healthcare thing that the Republicans just repealed and why insurance premiums will actually go up in response to it. And then secondly, I just want to touch about partisanship in general.
Dylan knows his shit.
I try to know.
Dylan knows his shit.
So the first one is how they're repealing Obamacare. That's not completely true. They're not repealing all of it. The part that they're repealing is they intertwined it within the budgeting process because that's how it was initially passed. It was tied to the budget. So what the Republicans are repealing is the subsidy to health care. So they'll still have to be obligated to provide these people care, but now these insurance companies don't have the economic resources that they previously did. So they're still going to have that obligation, but now they don't have that financial backing. So if you thought premiums were high previously, they're going to go up a lot more. And one, just doesn't make sense. And two, can you have some decency to just have a plan to propose in place of it rather than just say, we don't like it, let's get rid of it. And the second thing I want to talk about is just partisanship in this country. I've had a lot of discussions with conservatives and a lot of people who disagree with me, and we agree on the same fundamental goals. Like, for Black Lives Matter, for example, we agree that everyone should have equal protection under the law. black people included. But it is when we focus on the differences and the means that it like really separates us. But people are no longer focusing on that end intention, and because of it, that's why I think that we can't have an effective dialogue. Because if people immediately go to, oh, well, I'm calling you privileged, or, oh, that's a criminal, then you can't have these meaningful talks to try to get to this end result.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have a lot of fighting. Like, I was talking to my dad earlier this morning, and he is hyper-conservative, and if you know me, I am hyper-liberal and hyper-progressive, and we don't agree policy-wise on a lot. But one thing that we do agree on is the pipeline that is trying to go through these native lands.
Yeah.
We respect those rights. However, it is because they are talking about how it's laissez-faire economics that they think that this pipeline should be built. But if you really just talk policy and you talk the end result to your opponents, they really are able to like agree with you and try to find some sort of compromise. So I think that as a general step moving forward, if we try to respect the good intentions of other people and we just criticize policy rather than character, it would move this country in a much better direction.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
Pretty much just comes down to being a decent human being and being open-minded to people's like opinions.
It's all about empathy.
Yeah,
it really is.
Which I mean, I don't want to point fingers, but a lot of hard-headed liberals and a lot of hard-headed conservatives are very like, this is my opinion, this is how it is, you know.
Yeah, it really is.
I feel like a lot of people on the internet, like you don't get anywhere arguing on the internet, but I feel like you talk to a lot of people in person, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's that human contact where you kind of discuss it, and you, like, instead of on the internet, you're just yelling at each other in all caps and calling each other fucking assholes and all that.
The ability to be anonymous has made people so mean and so cruel. And the problem is, if you're face to face with that person, you don't have the balls to do that.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Because you're feeling you're feeling human when you're talking to somebody, to a person, you know?
Yeah, it really is like
you don't feel the human, like, interaction over the internet. Like, it's not there. I wanted to go back on the Muslim ban, and I wanted to just talk about the hypocrisy of all the All Lives Matter people. Like, where are they now?
Yeah.
You know? I think that's really funny. Another thing is Chicago crime. Did you see what Trump tweeted at Chicago?
He said he's going to send the
feds in.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Which I thought was funny. People were saying, pull up then, and all this.
That is fucking funny.
That is funny, like, just making a meme out of it. But it's like, he's literally threatening martial law on a whole city. Fuck off.
Did you see, like, how that, like, came about? Like, Bill O'Reilly talked about it in one of his segments, and Trump's probably like, oh, that's a good idea. You know? Fucking... He's so ridiculous.
Which he has a tower in Chicago.
Yeah, he does.
He should be for Chicago. Like, I know he's in New York, but he has business in Chicago. He should be trying to help Chicago out. Kanye went to Trump, and that was when all that shit was going down.
Yeah.
Kanye went to Trump, and Kanye is from Chicago. He represents Chicago, heart and blood. I know a lot of people hate him, but I love Kanye. He went to Trump, and he wanted to talk about Chicago education, the bullying. He wanted to talk about the crime rate. He wanted to talk to the president-elect. Like, this was prior to him being president. He wanted to talk to the president-elect about he wants Chicago to be priority, and he wants Chicago to be fixed and be the good community it was. Because like the crime rate was spiked. And Chicago's always been a bad city for crime, but it's spiked in like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But Kanye went to Trump wanting, like, support. He wanted, like, you know, can you help us out? Can you fund education in Chicago more? Because there's a lot that's, like, the homeless kids in Chicago is, like, skyrocketed too. And I think it's just, like, a slap in the face to somebody that you call a friend.
Yeah.
Like, Kanye called him a friend. Trump called him a friend. It's a slap in the face to someone you called a friend to send, I'm going to call him martial law.
Well, you know what's ridiculous about that statement is... And I understand why you said it, but the reason he should care about it being Trump Tower, like, he has invested business there.
Exactly.
He's the president of the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs to care for all 50 states,
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
You're no longer just bound to New York.
Exactly.
Like, you have to care for the entire United States.
In the entire world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
you're a leader of a country.
Your position is not to issue martial law just to prove a point.
Yeah.
You're trying to protect the citizens in your nation.
Yeah.
And just to touch upon, like, everything you're talking about, like, if we want these poor communities to get better, we need police forces to get better and to be more face-to-face interaction rather than force. We need community policing. We need more grants and investment in education, a jobs program. And also, and this isn't really talked about too much, and I don't know how you guys will be responsive to this, but I think gun violence is ridiculous in areas like Chicago. Like, and I know that it has to do with mental illness too, but just the sheer accessibility to guns is just terrifying.
Yeah.
There are more guns in the United States than there are people.
Yeah.
And so when you hear about shootings on a daily basis, and when we become so numb to people being killed by gun violence, that's a problem.
That's a big problem.
It's a huge fucking problem. And you hear about it every single day. So I think that there should be some sort of regulation. And that's what pisses me off about the Second Amendment, because they only talk about the language, the right to bear arms. They don't talk about the rest of the Second Amendment that says a well-regulated militia, also that it didn't apply to fucking AK-47s and AR-15s. They're talking about bayonets that took 15 fucking minutes to reload. So when you talk about well-regulated, it means, hey, this fucking psycho shouldn't have an AK-47, you know, he's kind of fucking crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this guy has the capacity to kill a lot of fucking people. Like, we need to restrict that across the entire fucking nation.
I'm going to change the name of this podcast to Libtard Podcast.
Right, Libtard Cuck.
Snowflake Podcast. No,
Millennials.
I respect your opinion, but there's got to be you got to stomp your foot in and draw the line in the sand somewhere when this shit is getting too fucking real, you know?
Well, and let me just clarify even further. I've been hunting. I've grown up with guns. I understand the culture of it, and I understand the love for it. You can still have those guns. You can still have those rifles. But at some point, at the point where fucking children are being killed and we don't fucking care, there is where you draw the fucking line.
Yeah.
All right, this is kind of sad now. Where do you want to go with it?
How are we going to dig ourselves out of this deep, depressing fucking hole that we just said?
I'll let you take the reins.
Any fucking good news? Just
I do. Well, we'll move out of politics. I've been reading Science Daily, and we'll get even more into boring shit.
Okay.
And technology's been increasing pretty quickly, and
definitely.
and they're getting pretty close to the first mechanical pancreas to solve diabetes, and
that's fucking cool.
That's fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
I know a lot of people with diabetes.
I know a lot of people too.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah.
Rip Grandpa, he had diabetes, and he died. So Rip Grandpa. Hashtag
Rip Grandpa. Hashtag 2017. Head ass podcast.
Make a trend. Robotics is huge right now.
Yeah.
And this is what's sad about this country, and I don't want to go back into it, but all the political, all the scientific discoveries and all that is overshadowed by all the fucking bad shit that's going on. Like, there's so much fucking cool shit that they're discovering now. They found like a bunch of new species of fish lately in the last few years. And then the robotics industry is like, it's Skynet. Like you know, make those memes about Terminator, but like they're making like self-aware AI and all this. Like, that's so cool.
I gotta tell you something about AI though.
What's up?
AI terrifies me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's like the Skynet thing.
Yeah, Skynet.
Because I think AI will either be our salvation or our demise.
You said this before.
Yeah. Because I think climate change, not to get into politics, this is more technology.
We're going to stay in politics.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna
we'll try to get out of it. But so climate change is obviously very real. And I think AI may be new technology to be able to generate new energy sectors. But if AI gets so fucking crazy that it becomes self-aware, then guess what? we're no longer fucking needed. We are obsolete.
Yeah.
And that terrifies me so fucking
crazy.
much.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really does. It's scary to even think about. And if you ever heard of Sam Harris, I suggest you guys go listen to him. He's a fucking great guy who talks about AI. But he talks about how we need regulation for it right now, because without it, we're not going to be able to stop AI.
Yeah.
So how he explained it is our memories and our thoughts go at like a couple minutes per second, something like that.
With AI, there's no limit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that doubles and that compounds. So what we would think about in 10 minutes is a thought that they would have.
It's like the shit with Avengers Age of Ultron, dog. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have seen it. Yeah. So it's basically that concept.
Where it's pretty much AI has access to the internet and they can just know everything.
Exactly.
All the time. They can just know human beings are shitty people and they're like, all right, fuck it.
Fuck it, guys.
Wipe
Robots are taking over. Who fucking cares about this podcast?
Everyone was like, Age of Ultron's such a bad movie. That's like one of the worst Marvel movies, which I don't think it is. Dog, that's so ahead of its time. Cause
I know.
Fucking Ultron was like, all right, dude, humans are shitty fucking people. Like, he's like, all right, I'm just gonna make this fucking huge meteor and I'm just gonna kill everybody. That's our future.
That's it, and it's all over. But so getting more into technology, I kind of wanted your input on this. Do you think the internet is good or bad?
Man.
And I'm gonna give you the reasons why I think there's pros and cons.
Well, most definitely there's pros and cons.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to see how you weight it. Because I think the main pro is more access to information.
Can we just make a widespread to technology in general?
Yeah, technology.
So, have you watched Black Mirror?
I have.
That is like, that's kind of realization.
Yeah.
You know? That's a big realization. We've talked about Black Mirror like 3 times on this podcast. But it's like technology that we can grasp within the next 10 years or so that could really change our whole lives and our whole society and how we work. That shows you the cons of technology, like, you know.
I kind of wanted to focus more present day.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
And I'm going to tell you what I mean. So present day, we have a lot of access to information
at our fingertips.
At our fingertips.
Everyone has a smartphone on their hand.
And it makes
you can look up anything, like everything.
And it makes the world so much more interconnected. I'm not even fucking kidding. 2 days ago, and I've never had this happen, and I was so surprised and so happy. Some person from Pakistan added me.
Really?
And we started fucking talking about just U.S. policy, and we started talking about their school system, and it was fucking phenomenal.
That's cool.
It was cool.
That's so cool.
It was really awesome. So I think that's a great pro.
Yeah, that's
and I
definitely
think
a pro.
having information at your fingertips is a great pro. But
show me the cons.
I think the main con is you get fucking distracted easily.
Yeah.
And then secondary cons are you're way too obsessed with your image.
Most definitely.
And you're way too obsessed with what your fucking friends are doing.
And antisocialness comes in.
Exactly.
People that only deal with technology and don't talk to anybody become very antisocial, and like anxiety comes in when they have to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I mean, I think that kind of contributes to mental health. I think that would kind of.
I think so too.
Definitely.
Like, so I kind of wanted to get your opinion. What do you think it bows toward? Do you think it's more pro or more con?
Just the internet in general, right?
Just the internet in general and how we use it presently.
I don't know. I think it'd be like kind of 50-50,
yeah.
honestly.
I don't know, man. It's weird to think about.
Because they can be like, oh, it has all these good things. They can meet new people and just discover new things and research whatever you want, whenever you want. There's so much, like, knowledge.
Exactly.
Ty Lopez,
and
knowledge.
Well, I was explaining this to one of my friends earlier, but if you do what we're doing now in college or high school, like just with basic arithmetic or Excel, we're doing math problems that even the geniuses back in the day wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think in that regard, our richness of knowledge has increased.
And I think... I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think just... we, like, take it for granted. Like, just, like, all the shit we could learn about, and, like, we don't even bother to just, like... Like, all we do is, like, look up porn and, like, pictures of celebrities and shit. That's,
don't
like,
be talking shit on the porn, man.
But, like, that's, like, pretty much what the internet's used for. It's, like, used to promote yourself and your self-image and talk to people and I don't know. You know what I mean?
In your personal experience, do you know more people who use it for knowledge or social media?
Social media.
I know, me too, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of become our culture.
I agree that it's became our culture, but at some point it gets so frustrating.
I agree, yeah.
But and this is what I also hate.
And I'm a hypocrite because all I do is
I know. I'm a hypocrite too because I'm on social media quite frequently, but I also take in so much information.
Yeah.
And like not even from Facebook. Like I try to be extremely neutral with like the Wall Street Journal, NPR, Reuters, Forbes, things like that.
You're more based like you look up stuff more.
And I'm not trying to sound like an asshole.
No, not at all.
But I think an abnormality. I really don't think that people are doing that.
Yeah.
Not as much as I would hope.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what is really perplexing about what is going on with the usage of social media and technology is it's across every single generation.
Yeah.
Like the baby boomers fucking do it. The people before us fucking do it.
I work at a school. I work at after school program with kids, and literally every single kid there either has an iPhone or an iPad. It's crazy. Like I didn't get a phone until I was like in 8th grade, and like that was just a prepaid little piece of shit. So it's crazy, and I think it's also pretty cool that these kids are growing up. Like it's crazy. Like it's fucking like how it's hard to grasp.
I think it's really enriching for them.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, everyone talks shit on Minecraft, but I think it's so cool that these kids get to like. This is so dumb. Like this is such a dumb fucking conversation. But to me, being a kid and like if I was a kid and I had Minecraft at the time, like that's just like sparking like their creative, like their like the part in their brain where they're being creative.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's cool. That's cool to me that they have that. But it's also crazy that like holy shit, they're all connected like to that fucking internet.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was one of those people who talk shit on Minecraft.
Yeah, like that, I get it.
Yeah, I just never got into it though.
Well, I mean, like imagine being a first grader and like having like Legos like wherever you go. You know what I mean? Like that's cool as fuck.
Oh, I agree. Well, and this is something that I want to talk about too. And I don't know who is listening to this, but I hope it's millennials. But make sure you don't make the mistake of shitting on the generation to come after us, like the baby boomers did to us.
I hate the fucking word millennials.
I do too, but I mean that's how our generation is categorized.
I know, but like we're not even millennials though. That's like people that were born like a couple years before us.
I know, but like for the Generation X or Y or whatever the fuck they're calling them, don't look down on those fucking people, cause like people called us dumb, and we're the fucking most educated, most witty, most enabled generation there is out there.
Yeah.
And guess what? Technology's increasing. That fucking generation's gonna be smarter than us. Mm-hmm. And you need to empower them, and you need to fucking respect them.
That's why I want to be a teacher. That's why I want to be a grade school teacher, so I can literally help these kids. Like, they're gonna be fucking, like, so smart.
Yeah, I know. And this is what I fucking hate, is, like, as someone who is older than you, how shitty is it to just purposely put that generation down?
Yeah, like poke and prod at them and just bring them down.
Yeah. Like we should be enabling these people.
We want a better world. Like why are you talking down on a generation?
These people are the future. I don't know why
I'm gonna talk shit on older generations all day because they fuck up everything.
But that's because they talk shit on us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know?
It's literally just like it's like schoolyard bullshit pretty much.
So, I kind of want to wrap around to Netflix because you mentioned Black Mirror. I don't want to talk about Black Mirror. I want to talk about documentaries, but I'll make it funny, I promise.
Okay, talk about them.
So, have you seen this documentary show that's called Marco Polo?
No, I am watching Sons of Anarchy for the second time right now.
I'm
pretty excited about it. But no, I haven't. But I've heard about it, yes.
So it's fucking awesome.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you why it's stupid. So, if you haven't seen it, the show is about the Kublai Khan dynasty.
God, he's so smart.
After Genghis Khan.
Dylan is so smart.
Thank you. And it's really fucking good, and it's really historical, and explains to you how South China has been unified under the Mongol Empire.
God, get this guy laid.
And I'm gonna fucking tell you why it's stupid. Because nothing barbaric ever fucking happens, and you know barbaric shit happened there.
Dude, I'm with you, dog. I'm angry about it too.
Like, there's this fucking foreigner. The show that it's called is Marco Polo. This dude is white as fuck. I'm gonna tell you what. Everyone else in this show is not white as fuck. And if this dude came into this fucking dynasty, he would be murdered instantly. And it's so fucking stupid because everyone's having such a good time. But no. People back then
This
didn't
is a
have
documentary?
Yeah. Well, it is a documentary, but it's
like
also
a series?
Yeah, it's like a
Like a
show
reenactment?
series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So it's a reenactment, but they try to remain historically accurate, but it's bullshit.
Yeah.
They get the events right, but how they treated people is complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah, and how they acted out. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. So the show itself
Yeah.
is bullshit, but like the historical
The events are true.
Yeah, the events are true, but like how it's acted out is like totally wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So like the main person who's in power right now is Kublai Khan. And this dude, he's an asshole, but he's not that big of an asshole.
Okay.
But you know, in real life, and I had to fucking search it because I was like, there's no way that this dude's this fucking nice. This dude fucking killed children, skinned them, and would fucking put them up as props to be like, hey, yo, don't fuck with the South China Empire. And
What a dick.
I know, right? It's a great fucking show, though.
What a dickhead.
Great show. Recommend it, though. And you watch this show and it's like, wow, this is a really sweet and gentle leader, you know?
Yeah.
I really wish this was my fucking leader. And it's just like, Netflix is doing a good job at telling interesting stories, but a bad job at representing morals.
Yeah. More into like the historical kind of show. Have you ever watched 11/22/63?
Is that,
With James Franco?
Yep, James Franco. It's a fucking phenomenal show.
So
good.
So good.
It's like the butterfly effect mixed with JFK.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's like it's got James Franco in it, and I think this is one of his best acting performances ever.
Yeah, he does great in that
He
show.
is phenomenal in this show. It's on Hulu if you want to check it out. It's like seven episodes, like 2 hour, like an hour and a half each. But essentially, it's like he jumps into a rabbit hole and he finds him back in 1960, and the guy who, like, I don't know, he wants to stop the JFK assassination. So essentially, he has to wait 3 years till 1963 to stop the JFK assassination, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's great. And it's actually what I would assume would happen if he stopped the assassination.
Yeah. I think I was talking to someone, they were complaining about, like, oh, that wouldn't happen. Ooh.
We won't spoil it for you guys if you want to fucking watch it.
I don't want to spoil it for them. That's a big spoiler too.
Yeah, huge spoiler.
My friend Kevin was like, no. I guess I get his complaint. His complaint was, I wish they would have covered more of the after effect. Like,
okay.
Because I kind of wish that too. Like they went in more detail about it instead of like just 20 minutes of it.
I agree with that criticism.
Yeah,
that's a good criticism.
That's good. I kind of just remembered that wrong. But 11/22/63 is very fucking good. 11/22/63.
I think it's on Hulu.
Hulu, yep.
I think it's on Hulu.
Mm-hmm. What else? What other documentaries you into, boy?
Dude, I watch a lot of World War II shit.
Really?
Yeah. Winston Churchill is my dog, man.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me just say, this is going to get really historical and maybe really boring, but fuck you if you think that and keep listening. So, Winston Churchill is really the fucking person who defeated Hitler.
Yeah.
And that's what I really think about with like the biggest rivalry in history.
Well, I thought Russia was like the biggest part of World War II.
But the thing is Winston Churchill was the tactician of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so he implemented this system called Blitzkrieg, and that's where they fucking targeted all the, like, lifelines of Germany, which is, like, their tanks, their ammunition, their food supplies,
their gas,
and whatnot.
Yeah.
Exactly. And in combination with that, he also formed an alliance with Russia and the United States.
Which is literally every single video game ever if you're trying to take down, like, a big business. Like,
exactly.
You attack, like, every single, like, little thing.
Yep, and you have to unify the enemies.
Yeah.
Which he fucking did. Mm-hmm. And what's fucking great about that is without Winston Churchill, Germany probably would have fucking won.
And there would be Nazis in the moon.
So we have a little bit of neo-Nazis that we got to take care of.
I played this video game called Wolfenstein. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I have heard of Wolfenstein.
So, Wolfenstein is fucking great. It's about if the Nazis won World War II.
Yeah.
And, like, they have, like, giant fucking concrete cities and like, all that. And, like, it's cool because you get to take that shit down.
Yeah.
But it's fucking cool. I like those kind of, like, futuristic kind of scenarios. That's fucking cool to me.
Well, as much as I hate Bill O'Reilly, he writes a lot of futuristic novels like
Does
that,
he?
and they're pretty good actually.
I like the lore of. Have you ever heard of Fallout?
I have heard of it, but I've never played it.
Okay. Probably one of my favorite video games. We're gonna talk about politics and video games. Let's go for it. But Fallout is essentially in 1960, the timeline diverts from 1960. So like our 1960 is the same as theirs, but their timeline diverts there. Instead of using gas and electrical power, they go over to nuclear power.
Yeah.
So like everything they have is nuclear powered. Like their cars and their houses and like the cities are all nuclear powered. So like eventually they run out of uranium, right?
Yeah.
So there's this big nuclear war over like I don't know. Just like I really don't want to like it's hard to explain. I'm really bad at explaining shit. I probably shouldn't even have a podcast because I'm so bad at just.
You're a head ass, man.
I'm a head ass. That's why I have this podcast because I don't know how to explain shit. But essentially, like China is like, oh well, fuck you, and then
everyone's fuck you,
and then like these vaults were built, and like everyone was like signed up for these vaults, and like they're underground like huge bunkers, and like but the vaults were kind of fucked up, and each vault was a different experiment. Like they did fucked up experiments on each one. There was one where it was like one male and like 99 females.
Jesus.
So like they just wanted to see what happened, you know, like
this dude got a bunch of puss.
Yeah, then there was a lot of then there was one where they put everyone named Gary in a vault. So like everyone named Gary, and like it started this cult of Gary.
Don't
like,
put me in that fucking vault.
I don't know. It's the lore of Fallout is fucking cool. I wish I could talk about it more. I'm just being a head ass right now. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool to me. I like this kind of.
I know that this
shit.
Probably took a weird turn, but it really reminded me just because it's nuclear energy. It really ties into World War II.
Oh, okay.
So, if you don't know, in World War II, we developed the atomic bomb.
Albert Einstein. Manhattan Project, right?
Yep. And Oppenheimer, which was the tactician and the architect of the atomic bomb. Well, if you don't know, both of these people were in Nazi Germany, and they only left because of the treatment of the Jews.
Yeah. Wasn't Albert Einstein a Jew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was Oppenheimer. So, if they did not see how dangerous that this Nazi Germany regime was acting, Nazi Germany would still have the two people who developed the atomic bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer and Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
And how terrifying is that?
Completely.
The two fucking people who changed the entire landscape of warfare could have been on the side of Nazi Germany.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I also think that's ridiculous to think about because...
I believe in parallel universes. There's a parallel universe somewhere where they didn't leave.
Yeah, where they didn't fucking leave.
Yeah.
But what I think is crazy is how little people have dramatic effects on history.
Yeah.
Like, if you go through the Industrial Revolution, the atomic bomb, and all of these historical events, it wasn't a group of people. It was a scientific creation.
Yeah.
Like, look at warfare ever since the atomic bomb's been created. The only thing that keeps us from destroying this fucking world is the idea of mutually assured destruction.
Mm-hmm.
If you bomb me with a nuclear bomb, I'm going to bomb you with a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, that was the premise of, like, Fallout.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that was all created by two fucking people.
Yeah.
I think that's mind-blowing.
It's crazy.
It really is. And that makes me think about, like, indigenous tribes and stuff, like, how they're still, like, native and they're still using tools that we've refined and developed into this most effective and efficient way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Those people would have been us.
Yeah.
Would still be us if it wasn't for the Albert Einsteins, the Oppenheimers, all of these fucking people in the world.
Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, man, I just think that's really crazy to think about. And we would have been those people who never really broke through that technology threshold.
Yeah. It's fucking mind-blowing.
I think so, too. So, what do you think will be, like, the next technological breakthrough that we have?
Probably self-aware AI or a trip to Mars.
Yeah, I think the trip to Mars and Elon Musk developments are pretty crazy.
Elon Musk is my fucking idol.
I really admire the guy, but
So cool.
someone has really challenged my beliefs about him, which is Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know who that is?
Yeah.
The Cosmos guys.
Yeah.
He's great too. So he told me, well, not told me specifically.
Told you directly,
yeah, right. I was watching an interview with him, and he said, if we can terraform Mars, why can't we just recreate Earth? And I thought that was a really good fucking point.
Yeah.
And so I started going down a rabbit hole with him, and I just think that he's like a really good spokesperson for scientists in general, because if you look at the scientific field, all of these people have major developments and creations, but no one's able to communicate that to the general public in a really meaningful way. And I think he's a really good spokesperson for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And I think that's what's really missing in this country, especially. Trying not to get into politics, but sorry, it's where my mind goes.
We keep going back.
But yeah, I mean, I think when we like elect people to Congress or school boards or Senate or even state departments, like, where's the rest of life? As Neil deGrasse Tyson would say, where's the scientists? Where's the engineers? Where's the business people? We need all of the forms of life and professions to represent us. Because guess what? Career politicians don't, you know? They're only versed in that career. They don't do what we do.
Yeah.
And we need to get people who do the same things that we do on a daily basis in, so they can really represent us.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's, I don't know, I really like Elon Musk for like global like warming. He's like trying to combat that with Tesla, and I think the thing he said about terraforming Mars, I don't know. I agree with Neil deGrasse Tyson that we could just recreate Earth. But,
yeah, and obviously it's a lot harder said than done. I mean, we haven't been able to figure it out yet. But just like two very...
But I really think space travel, like, NASA has literally been defunded so much that they literally can't do anything. Like, everyone's like, why haven't we taken a trip back to Mars since, like, what was it, 1960? Because they don't have the money to. There's no... It takes billions of dollars to now, just because the economy, like, inflation and all that. It's just so much. But, like... I really think like traveling space is just this should be a priority for us. Like just seeing what else is out there. Like it's fucking, I don't know.
Well, two things. One is if you look at the budget that they cut for NASA spending, it's like a drop in the bucket. It saved us almost no money.
Yeah.
And then secondly, just I think you're completely right with space exploration. Like not only does it potentially lead to like new discoveries and new technologies. Yeah. If you didn't know, the telescope and stuff were pretty revolutionary, but
you sound like such a fucking nerd.
I know, man, dude. I am so fucking boring at parties and other people and talking to them.
That's why he's so good for a podcast.
Right, that's the only purpose. But also just like the idea of inspiring people, like when JFK said that we're gonna go to the moon and we know it's impossible and challenging, but we're gonna do it because we know it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like you know how many kids heard that and they're like, oh hell yeah,
I can do anything.
I can fucking do anything.
Yeah.
We're going to Mars. We're gonna go to the moon. Why? I don't fucking know why.
But just because we can.
I don't fucking know how. But guess what? We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And I think that type of moonshot thinking is so fucking necessary in society.
Definitely. Yeah. And during the Cold War, like the kids like in schools, that was when our math and our science was implemented in schools.
Yep.
But I think it's so important because that was like pushed on kids. As like, you got to do math and science. You got to do all this. Because of the Cold War, we were trying to train our kids to become scientists. We wanted to combat like the Russians with our kids. Like we wanted them to be like smart and shit.
And if you look at it now, our STEM education is falling so far behind. We went from the pinnacle of STEM education and the most valuable and quality education in the world. And now, almost on every single list, we're like 60, 120th, 150th. We're just going lower and lower. And want to know why that is?
Our education hasn't been updated since
It's
then.
actually because we're not updating our education, we're defunding it, and we're just making no steps to bettering it.
Yeah.
And if you look at the nominee that they're trying to nominate,
She can't even she can't type right.
She has no experience.
Yeah.
She has grammatical errors, and she's supposed to lead the Secretary of Education position. It's not good.
She's the head ass. She's the head ass of this podcast.
She's the head ass. DeVos, if you're listening,
we should start a new segment where we have like a head ass of the week.
Right, head ass of the week. I'm down. DeVos, you're the head ass of the week. You do not have our, what the fuck is it called? You do not have our endorsement.
Yeah.
We unendorse you. You are not welcome on the Head Ass podcast.
What a fucking hit to her career.
Right.
That she's not endorsed by the Head Ass podcast.
She's not going to get nominated now. Calling it. It's because the Head Ass podcast said she will not. That she won't.
The Secretary of Education, right?
Secretary of Education.
Is the Head Ass of the week.
We're going to get contacted. We're going to get this taken down.
FBI is going to come creeping up to our doors.
Right. So, yeah, hopefully she doesn't get in.
Yeah.
So, what else? What are you thinking?
I don't know. Maybe we should just call it a wrap, you know?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
This was a great podcast. I wanted to get Dylan on because he knows his shit.
Well, I appreciate it.
Jack knows his shit too, but not to an extent that Dylan does. Dylan is the biggest fucking nerd I know. He's one of the smartest people I know. And
Thanks.
he's just great to fucking have on a podcast, and I think I might just flip-flop between him and Jack. I think that'd be great. New refresh every kind of week, you know? I mean, me and Jack kind of stay on the same topic, and we just kind of cover it more in depth. But with you, I think there's a lot more variety and shit. And I think that'd be good for the podcast.
Yeah.
Just have people, you know, people can...
Sorry, I kind of bounce around quite a bit.
No, it's fine. I think it's cool. Kind of get people thinking, you know?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
I thought this was an awesome platform. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no
man.
problem. And we'll definitely have you on again. I don't know why I'm saying we, because it's just literally me.
It's
literally just me,
it's just
Colin,
us, man.
running this podcast. Just getting my friends on and just seeing where it goes. I might just get more friends on and just fucking chit chat with them.
All right, for all you head asses out there, thanks for listening.
Love ya. Appreciate ya.